riot in Knoxville, Tennessee was one of several race riots that took place in the Red Summer of 1919. The so-called Red Summer was a series of violent riots. Let's get into it. The riot of Knoxville, Tennessee began on August 30th, 1990, when an intruder entered the home of Birdie Lindsay, a 27-year-old white woman, and was shot in her sleep while she was in bed. The only witness was Lindsay's cousin, Ora Smith, who soon after the intruder left the home ran to the next-door house of a city policeman. One of the officers investing in this crime scene was Andy White, who immediately accused Maurice Mays with no actual evidence. Maurice Franklin Mays was a well-known African political figure who briefly served as a deputy sheriff in North Knoxville. He had a bit of a reputation and past, so with that, Andy White had all the evidence to immediately accuse him of murder. On August 30th at 3:30 a.m., Andy White, along with two other officers, traveled to Mays' apartment where they found a revolver in his dresser. Soon after, he was handcuffed and hauled over to the crime scene right after the death, where Ora Smith identified him as the intruder after barely glancing at Mays. Maurice was then taken to the Knox County jailhouse. At around 8 in the morning, the angry white people began to congregate near the Knox County jail. A few individuals broke into the jail in search of Mays. However, he was moved to the jail in Tennessee as a protective measure. No African American inmates were harmed during the search, but over a dozen white inmates were freed, leading to the pillaging of the liquor storage room and the demolition of the jail. Later that day, the National Guardsmen were notified about several holdups taking place in the black section of Knoxville near Vine Avenue and Central Street. Not long after, the detachment was sent to the scene, followed by a mob of white rioters. Although one business was broken into by African Americans, the white mob raided and destroyed numerous black-owned businesses in the area. Eventually, the Guardsmen joined the mob, engaging in gunfire with black residents. In the end, hundreds of citizens were wounded and 7 people were killed, 6 blacks and 1 white. The riot prompted many African Americans to flee the city. Although this riot of 1919 started as a murder case and not a race riot, in the end it became one. Maurice Franklin Mays was convicted of the murder of Birdie Lindsay by an all-white jury and sentenced to death. On March 15th of 1922 in Nashville, Tennessee, Maurice Franklin Mays was pronounced dead after being sentenced to the electric chair.